Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another third-party unlicensed 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. Today, we're taking a look at the Mars Toys X 6 Feet Lane Studio Barboss, aka Oz Cobb, the Penguin, based off his appearance not only in the 2022 Matt Reeves directed The Batman film, but also kinda sorta the Penguin TV series. Now, if you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new Mars Toys figure review goes live on the channel. As for the box art, it's quite creative the way they've done this, with the skyline off to one side, then an image of Colin Farrell in the makeup blending into the sunset/sunrise scene. I just wish the image was a little bit higher resolution. It's kind of blurry and grainy. Also, this sculpt, Mars Toys, for your next Penguin, please give us this expression. Now, there's two versions of the Barboss. Version A, which is the one I went with, denoted by a A1 on the front of the box. He's wearing a checkered suit, and his mouth is slightly open for the head sculpt. Then version B, he comes with a different sculpt, the mouth is closed, and a pinstripe suit with a double-breasted suit jacket. Prior to the finale of the show airing, I saw Oz more as like a street-level crook, rather than the mastermind, the kingpin of Gotham. But now I'm kinda regretting not getting version B. On the side of the box, it simply says 6 Feet Lane Studio. Mars Toys isn't mentioned anywhere on the packaging, so you might be wondering, well, what's their involvement with this? The short answer is, I'm not sure. I think they made the head sculpts, but I could be wrong on that. Then, around the back, warnings and legal information. That's been done up to look like the conversation Batman was having with the Riddler in the movie on his laptop. But the text isn't green, it's purple. Luckily, I've got a pretty good relationship with Mars Toys, so when I ordered this, I paid for it, no discounts or anything. I asked if it was possible to also get the version B head sculpt, because I wanted the option of being able to switch between them. They sent me one, and I'll show you what this looks like in comparison to the version A sculpt a little bit later. Ditching his coat for now, first in-hand impressions for Oz. So far, so good. I'm loving the head sculpt, the proportions, and the tailoring. What we're going to do now is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first, it's looking very Mars Toysy. They always use the Hot Toys Age of Ultron style base mold. Around the front, an etched metal nameplate, it simply says the Penguin on it. Then, for the top plate, they've upped their game. This isn't just a sticker, which is what we're used to seeing from Mars Toys. They've added some texture into the mix. So for the Batman logo, it's heavily textured. It just makes this base feel a little bit more premium. Up top, an adjustable crotch grabber. This was packaged separately in the box. In fact, you just saw it in the unboxing segment. It's his leather trench coat. I'll show you what he looks like wearing this a little bit later. Would I have preferred a waxed nylon or actual leather? Absolutely. But don't forget, this is a relatively low-cost third-party figure, so leather is what they decided to go with. The umbrella is all sculpted plastic. It looks realistic enough, as though it's cinched in the middle. These little bits stick up off the main sculpt work. I wish they were painted silver, though. Then we've got some metallic gold underneath the handle, and a wood grain effect on this top part. It feels durable, it's made of PVC, so even if you put some pressure on it when you're popping it in his hand, I don't think you're going to break anything. The Uzi, or Mac 11, is this a Mac 11? Let me know down in the comments. Has a removable magazine, which is in there very securely, sculpted but unpainted bullet detail. It's painted first in gunmetal, then there's some silver dry brushing over the top to make it look a little bit weathered. I think they may have accidentally given me a few too many drops. I've watched all of the Mars Toys Penguin videos on YouTube at this point in anticipation for mine's arrival, and folks got like 3 of these. I've got 9 in total. I'm not complaining though, now I've got spares, I can give one to Batman, I can have them littered around Penguin's display base, or maybe sticking out the top of his duffel bag. Now the Ziplocs are functional, and you can remove the drops from the inside. They've even gone so far as to paint the middle sections of the pipettes in transparent orange. I'm not sure if they're meant to be removable, but it's there if you want it. Speaking of the duffel bag, the straps are connected with Velcro right out of the box, but undoing that, we can get access to the zipper up top, which is functional. Inside of it, we've got some stacks of $100 bills. It looks like it's completely full. It isn't. There's a block of foam underneath them just to prop them up and give you that effect to make it, like I said, look like it's completely full of cash. These you can put anywhere you want really, but I reckon they're going to stay inside the duffel bag for my copy of Penguin. Lastly, we get some hands, and these are probably some of the most detailed third-party hands I've ever seen. All of his left ones have the rings sculpted and painted on there. We've got skin texture, vein work, some wrinkling, even this rosy-looking red shading. So for the left side, we've got a trigger finger hand, and for the right, this fingers bent back-ish, splayed out finger open palm hand. I really like the gestures. This one, for the left side, not quite sure how to describe it, but I'm here for it. Then for the right, another trigger finger-ish hand of sorts, but the fingers aren't curled in anywhere near as much as they were for the left side. 2 gripping hands. This is unfortunate. It's not the end of the world because even Hot Toys have done this with Loki from Avengers Endgame and the 2012 Avengers version. Still, if they can do a single piece sculpt for the right side, why not the left? Oh, and right out of the box, 2 relaxed open palm hands already installed on the body. Do these count as accessories? A very detailed gold watch on the left side and a die-cast bracelet on the right. I'll show you them properly a little bit later. What we're going to do now is get Oz himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. This right here is why we love Mars Toys. Tailoring that's as sharp as a pin, the way it just drapes over the body, it looks so natural. The proportions are bang on for me. And he's padded for his gut. He looks a little bit portly, that's accurate to the Penguin. But my one big takeaway, over and above all of that other stuff, is the head sculpt. Let's be honest, if they didn't nail the sculpt, this would have been an immediate write-off. And that's what some people did at the pre-order stage. The prototype sculpt was, quite frankly, terrible. It was nowhere near as good as this final production one is. Thank goodness they changed it. They changed it for the better, and no matter which version of Penguin you end up going with, I reckon you're going to be really satisfied with the head sculpt, because I certainly am. Up close and personal, kicking things off with that head sculpt. I was just raving about it, we may as well. I've seen other reviews and posts online where people are praising the tailoring, and the proportions, and the accessories. I love all of that. But they are petrified to admit they like this head sculpt. Why? Is it not one of the best Mars Toys sculpts to date? Because I think it is. I can see the likeness not to Colin Farrell, but to the Penguin from every angle. Specifically, a 3/4 turn with the head sculpt tilted forward, that hook nose, the baggy looking skin, the scarring, it is undeniably Oz Cobb from that Batman universe. Even technically speaking, it's well done. We've got the pock marks, some 5 o'clock shadow down below, a double chin tucked into his shirt collar, and my favorite detail, the hairline. You can see some individual strands of hair, and where it's been parted, there's his scalp poking through all the way round to the back. This is an impressive sculpt, no two ways about it. Now with the version A sculpt, his mouth is slightly open and you can see his teeth inside of it. Versus version B, this is the same base sculpt, I believe, because the top, the eyebrows, the eyes, the nose, all of that looks the same. But the mouth is fully closed, no exposed teeth. I'm curious to see what that one looks like on the body. Let's give it a go. I like it. I do. But not as much as this sculpt. I'm going to go with version A for my penguin. Every now and then I may have him rocking this because it still works in a more serious pose. But the other one is just my favorite of the two. Maybe that's why people weren't loving this penguin, because they were getting version B. That one far outsold version A just based off what I've seen online. But that head sculpt I don't think is as good as this one. Anyway, moving on from the sculpt, let's talk about the proportions. The body underneath the outfit, I believe, is custom specifically made for the penguin, and it's been quite heavily padded around the front for his pot belly. This is just foam, I think, or like pillow stuffing inside the vest, and it extends down to his thighs. It ends right around here. So it is going to get in the way of range of motion. We'll see what that looks like in the articulation segment. For a character like Oz, tailoring is so important. Getting the boxiness, the broadness of the shoulders right, how it pinches in at the waist, exposing his belly at the front, where it ends at the bottom with the vent. This is an accurate height above his knees. I checked reference pictures from the movie. For those wondering, this is the outfit from the courthouse scene, I believe. Now, this button is a real button, and that is a proper slot in the front of his suit jacket. If you want to do this up, I don't recommend it because you will tear the shit out of this fabric. If you want to, grab yourself a string, thread it through that slot, wind it round the button, pull it through, angling it as you do so, remove the string, and then the suit jacket will be done up. I prefer to leave it open because now you can see the shiny lining inside of it and the actual suspenders. We've got some pleather bits at the bottom, but the rest of the suspenders are elastic, they're quite stretchy. The tie, a full Windsor knot, perfect for Oz. This is a real tie, it's adjustable. Then we've got his shirt with some pink pinstripes on top of the purple material. They give you some spare white buttons in the box. They are meant to replace these ones if they fall off during posing. The material they've used for the suit jacket and the suit pants is screen printed, which is unique. I don't see many business suits in this scale with screen printing on the surface. It's not sticky at all. It's not going to stick to itself if you've got his arm bent and the suit jacket is making contact with itself. But still, it is a lint magnet just because of the raised texture on the surface. Now, I said in the accessory segment we'd get a better look at his watch and his bracelet. There it is. The face is domed, it's printed on the underside, and it's painted in this shiny metallic gold. I've seen the Batman 6 times in total, 5 in the cinema and once at home. But if you'd have asked me if Oz wears a gold bracelet on his right wrist, I would have said no, probably not, because I don't remember seeing it. But I did see it in the Penguin TV series. When he was driving his car, you could see it as plain as day. So when this figure arrived, I quickly opened it up, checked that the chain was there, and much to my surprise, it was present. So Mars Toys, they did their research even before the TV series came out. They knew that the Penguin wears a bracelet like this. It's made of die cast, and the best part about this and the watch is that if you've got his arms bent in a pose that would normally expose his wrist pegs, you can use these pieces to cover them up. He's got some real pockets for his pants, but the suit jacket ones are non-functional. There's a pleat ironed in down the front of the pants. They hold their shape pretty nicely, but they buckle in at the knees if you're not careful. Then they break at the correct height on top of his shoes. He's got black fabric socks on. The shoes are brogues with a ton of intricate sculpt work on the surface, including some sculpted laces. On the underside, some sculpted tread. There's one more thing I want to try out before we can move on to comparisons. And that's his pleather trench coat. It's a look that I'm curious to see myself because I am strongly considering rocking him like that in my collection. It's okay. I prefer him without it. I assumed this was going to be the look I would rock. Nah, it ruins the proportions for me. It blunts out, it rounds off his shoulders. The really sharp edge to the suit jacket I liked, and I said as much just a second ago. Plus, this is a shitload of pleather. It's going to flake, it's going to crack, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually it will. If you find that the belt is flying away like this, a little tip to help you manage it, I like to fold belts over themselves, then tuck that fold into the loop and it should hold in place. It's not a perfect solution, I wish this was wired, but it should give you enough flexibility to have it sit down and not look ridiculous on the front of his coat. Or you could do it up if you wanted to. That is a real functional buckle on the belt. Bring it around the front, tie up the belt, and then you'd have a completely different look for Oz. So you already know I don't like what it does for the proportions, how it rounds out the shoulders. But my other complaint is it's super shiny. It works for that nighttime rainy scene look. It comes across as though it's wet leather. But for figure photography, it is going to be a glare machine. You are going to see glare all over it. It's going to be a nightmare. It'll expose all of your light sources. So the best move for me, and probably for most of you all after you try this once, is just remove it. Much better for the proportions, back to stock. I'm on the hunt for version B now. I don't know if I'll do another review because I've already showcased the B version head sculpt in this one, but I need both looks for Oz in the collection. And who's to say that the double-breasted suit jacket doesn't look better with the trench coat on versus what we just saw? What a perfect pairing for a quick side-by-side comparison. You cannot tell me that they don't look damn good standing next to each other. On the right, the Batman by InArt, and on the left, Mars Toys Oz Cobb. Oz is shorter than Batman is. I'm okay with that scaling. I don't mind the Penguin being the shorter of the two here. Why do we not have an officially licensed Penguin at this point, though? Thank goodness for third-party companies, because the officially licensed ones, they're scared. They don't want to make side characters like this just in case they don't sell. But enter Mars Toys, they've given us Riddler, and now a killer 1/6 scale Penguin. It's pretty awkward because I didn't know that 6 Feet Lane Studio were Mars Toys. I thought they were a different company entirely, so that is the Mars Toys Riddler standing next to the Penguin. He's taller than Oz, the scaling looks fine to me. Now that we've got these two, I would love a Gordon. Alfred would be fantastic. But the final figure that I reckon we need from Mars, for now, is Catwoman. Fingers crossed they're going to make that happen. Going over articulation, I've left off the pleather jacket just so that it doesn't get in our way and because I want to protect that pleather material. Starting off with his head sculpt, it's on a fixed neck and there's a ball joint at the bottom. Looking forward to there, looking up to there, swivel, and some pivot side to side. His arms sit completely flush down by his sides, going out to there. It's a very stiff joint, actually. Going forward, quite squeaky. There's a butterfly joint at the shoulder that hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow going past 90. Then for the wrist peg, it's a hinge and swivel. And don't forget, you can use either his watch or his gold chain on the other side to hide that wrist peg. He's heavily padded for his gut, so I'm not sure how much range we're actually going to get. Crunching forward to there, going back to there, swivel, and pivot side to side. His legs will go forward on clicky ratchets to there, going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh. Double bend at the knee on clicky ratchets, going the full way. Then a double ball peg for the ankles, good for forward and back, swivel, as well as plenty of ankle tilt. Wrapping up on the Mars Toys / 6 Feet Lane Studio, the Bar Boss, aka Penguin or Oz Cobb, based off his appearance in the 2022 Batman movie. I love that film, and I adore this piece. If it wasn't for the TV show, would I still have picked this up? Absolutely. Colin Farrell, in that movie, he kicked some serious butt with his performance. Not literally, but you know what I'm trying to say. Acting chops-wise, he nailed it. And they nailed this. The only complaints I have. Number one, I would have liked a more expressive head sculpt. the sinister smirk from the front of the box even. And number 2, the pleather jacket. Surely they could have gone with like a waxed nylon or even some other kind of synthetic. Never use pleather going forward, Mars Toys. We all know it degrades, and that's the last thing we want to see on a 1/6 scale figure like this. Everything else is on point. The proportions, the padding for the gut, the suspenders underneath the suit jacket, the way the tailoring drapes on the body looks very realistic, and the head sculpt. It's so much better than it has any business being because the prototype was an unmitigated disaster. This is a masterpiece. Some folks don't like it, that's fine. I personally do. I like the A and B head sculpts. So at the end of this, are we potentially going to get a licensed penguin now that the show is aired and it's insanely popular? I don't know. This could very well be our only 1/6 scale penguin. Until Mars Toys give us a 2.0 based off the end outfit from the TV series, I would be all in on that. TLDR, if you want a penguin as a companion piece to Riddler and Batman, get this. Now, if you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.